to see if you can identify anything that sounds a little bit strange to you. Then I'll give you my own impression of things that could maybe make the sentence sound a little bit more natural in American English pronunciation. And of course, if you hear something else that you think would be helpful, you can always let us know in the comments. All right, let's take a look at our first sentence.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
So you can hear there, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I would say you have two more natural places to put the stress. What are you doing? You could put the stress on doing. What are you doing? If the emphasis is on the action, you want to know, you're more curious about the thing that's being done. Or you could also stress the you if you want to focus on the person. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But again, that sounds a little bit accusatory, so the context will certainly be important. So again, my general suggestion would be stressing more doing. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, let's take a look at our second one.
Just practicing names. Ask me to pronounce your name.
I would say there are two stresses here that I would have changed. Listen to the audio again and see if you have an idea of what changes I'm going to suggest.
Just practicing names. Ask me to pronounce your name.
So you can hear in that first part, just practicing names, just practicing names. But I probably would have actually stressed names, just practicing names, just practicing names. Again, English prefers to stress the final content word of sentences. So that's why you're more likely to put the stress on names, I think, in an actual sentence. Just practicing names. And then for the second part of the sentence, because we've already mentioned the word name, we probably don't need to give it another stress, although you can hear Siri giving another stress to names. Ask me to pronounce your name. Instead, though, I would suggest putting the stress on pronounce. Ask me to pronounce your name. Just practicing names. Ask me to pronounce your name. How about our third one?
I'm afraid I can't answer that. I'm afraid I can't answer that.
I'm afraid I can't answer that. I'm afraid I can't answer that. Sounds a little bit robotic, right? I would probably suggest just actually doing one stress. I'm afraid I can't answer that. I would put the stress on answer. I'm afraid I can't answer that. I'm afraid I can't answer that. If you really need a second stress, you could put on afraid. Like, I'm afraid I can't answer that. I'm afraid I can't answer that. So again, these are some possibilities that I think would sound just a little bit more natural.
If you're not sure, then I'm not sure either.
If you're not sure, then I'm not sure either. So that's kind of the way I'm hearing Siri say that. And you have some contrastive stress here. You're playing with this comparison between you and I, or these two people. So to emphasize that stress more, I think you're more likely to hear native speakers use contrastive stress, putting the shift on the you and the I. If you're not sure, then I'm not sure either. Notice that either will also get some stress at the end. If you're not sure, then I'm not sure either. So again, when you have situations like this where you're comparing two things or two people, a lot of times whatever's being compared will be the item that you want to stress. You can also hear a very similar issue here.
If you're not sure, then I'm not sure either.
And again, I would give the same suggestion. You're, and then I'm. Also note that that last word either in that version sounds a little bit weird at the end. So again, it's more either, then I'm not sure either. By the way, guys, if you find exercises like this helpful in identifying issues with pronunciation and stress, you should be in our Telegram group. We check your pronunciation every single day. You can find more information at patreon.com/fluentamerican.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that. Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Kind of a weird pattern here. I'm still not sure about that. I'm still not sure about that. Not very natural sounding. So one thing that could help is by having fewer stresses. I'm still not sure about that. I'm still not sure about that. You can probably just get by with one stress on sure. I'm still not sure about that. So again, a stress on sure and also a stress on sorry at the start. Sorry, I'm still not sure about that. Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Maybe you should do the asking. Maybe you should do the asking.
Here the stress is on asking. Maybe you should do the asking. But I think you're going to be more likely to put the stress on you. So again, you're trying to emphasize who should be doing the action. So that's why I think it's a more natural place to put the stress on you. Maybe you should do the asking. Maybe you should do the asking. Our last one.
It's 1940. It's 1940.
1940. It almost sounds like the year, like if you're saying the year, like 1940. But if we're talking about time, you're probably going to be putting the heaviest stress actually on the minutes. You don't need to stress the hour so much. So you don't need to say 1940. It's just 1940. Stress the 40. 1940. How did you do? How well could you identify the places where Siri was sounding just a little bit strange and less natural?